Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, trader Steve here at Logic FX Trading, and welcome to the first news and reviews little video of 2018. I'm going to try and standardize these guys from a point of view. I'll give them a number, and also I'll try and do 2 to 3 a week. So what's the purpose of them? Well, in my daily trading room recordings, or in the live trading room, we go through the news of each day, and then we go on to the charts and look to see, look for trading opportunities. So why do we bother looking at the fundamentals? Why do we bother looking at what's going on in the news whenever we actually trade the charts? Well, let me show you, I'll give you a little analogy. Here's a fishing trawler, lots of photographs of fishing trawlers, guys. And these are the big boys. This is the pension funds and the movers and shakers, the people with the hundreds of millions of dollars who actually move the market. And when they go fishing, they go out systematically. They know where they need to go for the fish. They've got radar that shows them where the shoals are. They've got the equipment to catch it. Clearly, they've got a massive machinery and financial muscle behind them in order to be able to do this. Okay, so taking this analogy, where are we? What do we look? Well, this is what we look like. We're just an individual trying to catch a fish or two. And if we can catch, a really big fish, do our year. If you ever watch some of these movies about people living out in the wild in Alaska, the hunter-gatherers, when they go out, and if they can catch enough fish during the summer, it'll feed them through the winter. Or maybe they go out and they hunt a moose or whatever, and if they catch one, they know, right, I'm set up for the rest of the year. Now, some of the fish that we catch will pay for us to continue to trade, because we need bait, we need money to trade, so we keep our account afloat. And then every now and again, we'll either get into a shoal, or we'll get a really good day or a good week, and that's what will make us a profitable year, guys. You can get one big trade, 2, 3 big trades a year, and the rest of the year's easy going, so long as you're not using up too much of your capital. That's having a tight stop loss, a tight trading strategy. We don't want to get into that at the moment. I'm just trying to make the difference between what we're doing and what the big boys are doing, and the reason for the fundamental analysis. Okay, so years ago when I was a kid, I used to like fishing. But what I found out about fishing is that when I first started, no one's really telling me what to do. You went out to the rocks with a fishing line and you chucked it in, and you tried to catch a fish. And there were times you'd sit for hours and hours and hours, and then the guys would start to appear at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning or the afternoon, and they'd start fishing, and within 10 or 15 minutes they were catching fish. And you're going, what's going on here? These guys knew stuff that I didn't know because I was a kid. They understood the tides. They understood the seasons. So they knew what type of fish they were looking for at what time of the year. And they knew what time of the day that the fish came in. I'm talking about shore fishing here, guys. What time of the day that the fish come in. It's the same as if you're river fishing, guys. You go to a river or a pond to go fishing. There's times in the day when fish are feeding. There's times of the year when they're feeding. There's times of the year when they're not feeding. So if you don't understand that, you could go and stand there all day long, day after day, and catch very little. But if you've an understanding of where the market's going, if you've an understanding of where the tide's going, what direction it's going in, then your chances of catching a fish or several fish are much higher than if you don't understand what's going on. If you're just standing there tossing your bait, your hook into the water, and you have no clue what's going on, you do not have much chance of being successful. So what we do with these news and reviews videos is we look at the tide, what's affecting the tide, when's it coming in, when's it going out, when's it sitting still, when's the best time to look for trading opportunities. And then once we've done that, we can go over to the charts and look for our setups to say, hey, this trade's worth taking because we think the tide's going in that direction, or it'll be better to take the trade that way because we think the tide is going that way. It's about the bigger picture, guys, not just the day-to-day, quick move like this. There's a move up. Do you take your profit? No, I'm not taking my profit here. Why? Because this is silver, and my tide, in my estimation, looking at the fundamentals, this will rise and rise and rise, guys. Will it do it like that? I have no idea. It could do that first and then do that, but there's the direction of the tide. There's the direction of the bull market. And obviously, if we analyzed it and we analyzed that the world economy is going well, then silver would go in that direction, guys. So that's what we're looking for in our fundamental analysis. Okay, now this is a longer one than they usually be. This is just the setup for anyone new who doesn't understand why we look at fundamental analysis. So how do we go about looking at it? Well, every week we'll start by looking at this economic calendar, which tells us all the major news that's coming out that week to do with the economies of the world. China's industrial production, the pound, Prime Minister May speaks, major thing, talking about Brexit there. Average earnings index. Why do you look at that? Well, it tells you how the economy is doing and whether the Bank of England, the Reserve Bank, is going to increase interest rates or not. If they increase interest rates, the value of the pound goes up. If they decrease interest rate, the value of the pound goes down. If you understand what these mean, and hopefully you'll pick it up by watching me on a weekly basis, you'll be in a much better place to know the right time to fish and what direction to fish in, guys. USD, existing home sales, it's red. Is it red enough? Is it something to worry about? What effect has that had on the dollar? We look at that. What's happening? What did we look at yesterday? How did that affect the charts? So we'll go through these. Then we'll go over to my Flipboard, where all day long, guys, I keep checking out all the news stories. Anything I see that's of interest, I'll flip into here. You can go and look at this. You'll get the link for this from my website. Obviously, you can search for it, but it's easier just to get it from the website. Should have had this up for you guys. Okay, here it comes, right? So if you go onto the first page of my website, down there, Logic FX Trading, read the magazine, Flipboard magazine, that will take you over to this. And then what we'll do is we'll discuss each of these. Maybe we'll discuss 3 or 4 of them in regards to what we expect to happen in the market that particular day. Or maybe we'll just look at one particular story and we'll do a news reviews video about that, guys. Okay, right. What else is there? Then there's Twitter. What's going on Twitter? There are lots of different companies and people on Twitter that I follow. Bloomberg being one of them. FX Street News is another one. There are other ones, guys, but I can't find them at the moment. And then we look to see what they have to say about maybe a particular thing that we're looking at. So we'll also look at those. And naturally also on my Twitter feed, anything that I put out onto, anything I put out like this or anything on TradingView, I will put into the Twitter feed. So you can either find it there or a bit later on, you'll find it in here, Logic FX Trading. Okay, guys, so that's the setup. That's the news and reviews. From a review point of view, what we'll do is a situation like this where I've done an analysis of something and it's worked out. Then we'll go back and we'll see what we did wrong and we'll review it. And if it hasn't worked out, we'll go back and we'll look at it and we'll say, well, why didn't it do what we expected to do? It's all about understanding the market, guys. Okay, so there isn't really any big story at the moment other than Davos. Well, the 3 big stories in the news at the moment, obviously. Davos, the big meeting, they're breaking up at the moment. The second one this week, well, come into next week, is the Chinese-US trade talks. They're starting next week. We'll see how they go. These are the big movers, what direction the world economy is going in. We're looking at a slowing down going into this. But clearly, if they have a trade war and they can't sort themselves out, the slowdown could turn into a recession, guys. That's why we're looking at that. Then, obviously, in Brexit, there's the whole, is there going to be a deal? Is there not going to be a deal? We'll look at that on a daily basis. And then other things that affect particular shares, particular stocks, because we also, trade shares as well. We can look at shares in the trading room. Oil, yet again, stories about oil, what direction's oil going on. And then in the trading room, we go over and we look at the particular chart, and then from the news story, combined with what we see here, we get a higher probability of what's going to happen, guys. It's just about increasing our probability. Okay, guys, I hope that helps. This is just the introduction. From Monday to 3 days' time, we will do the first actual news story one. I just wanted to get this out as an introduction. Okay, see you later.